Well, the cold room and cool bot seem to be working perfectly. Should be ready for the pigs. Now to get everything else ready. So guys, in this video, we are actually going to kind of walk you through our process of how we do things for butchering our pigs. We harvest and butcher them here on our homestead. We don't take them out to go anywhere. We aren't going to show you anything in this video about the harvesting, the dressing, or the butchering. This is just kind of going through the equipment we use, the setup that we use, how we kind of get prepared for the whole process. So if you're squeamish, don't worry, you won't see anything in this video. If you are planning to harvest a pig sometime in the future, if that's what you want to get into, doing everything yourself on a homestead, this video could help you. What we'll do in this video is we will go through the tools that we use for harvesting and dressing the pig. We will go through kind of our setup, how we go about the process. But again, we will not show the harvesting or the butchering or the dressing at all, any of that with the pigs. Yeah, it's a good thing I threw all that straw in their pen last night to keep them clean for tomorrow. So this should be our fifth year harvesting pigs. I think it's the fourth, could be the fifth. And we're getting pretty good at it now. So I'll kind of run you through how we set things up to be able to harvest our pigs at home and then butcher them here at the farm homestead as well. So first thing you need is somewhere to actually do it. We actually built this car shelter with this little beam coming out, so it would give us a place to be able to hang the pigs and hang deer and hang animals when we're harvesting and butchering them. And the car shelter gives us somewhere out of the rain, so if it is raining, we can just move everything inside. We can use the tractor as well to hold them up in the air when we're basically gutting them. Second thing that's always handy is a couple skids. We're able to get these new ones today. Our old ones were getting a bit worn. So what we do is we put those down on the ground side by side, and we can lay the pig down on there when we're cleaning the pig. It makes it so much easier, keeps the pig off the ground, especially if you start cutting the pig up into pieces to be able to transport it down into the cold room. You don't want that laying on the ground. What I like to do is have these right under where we hang the pig up. That way you can lift them up and drop them down onto it, again, without getting the pig dirty on the regular part of the ground. I also like the pallets going this way. That way, if you flip the pig upside down, you can kind of lay them in between the boards, or stick some boards, 2x4s or anything like that in the sides to help support the pig and keep it from flipping over. Next thing we need is a flamethrower. Well, it's like one of those garden torches for the weeds and stuff. So we're definitely gonna need our propane tanks. We usually only go through about one. We don't scald the pigs. We actually just take the flamethrower, burn the hair, and then take a wire brush and scrub it off. We find that so much faster and easier than scalding them. And to take the hair off, what we find is wire brushes. These work amazing for taking the hair off after you've burnt. And you'll get a bit of shriveling of the top layer of skin. Again, that takes it off nicely to clean off the dirt and that. One of these hard brushes also works well on a stick, so you don't have to bend over. Some sort of table is nice too. It doesn't have to be like this. This is one of those butcher blocks. It doesn't have to be a butcher block. It can be a regular table, something to set your brushes on, or your lighter for starting your torch, something to set that stuff on so you don't lose it. Okay, so we've got our propane torch. Again, it's one of these garden ones. Works perfectly for doing weeds or, you know, cutting the holes in your garden fabric. It works perfectly for taking the hair off the pigs. Oh yeah, we'll go back to the truck, because the other thing is a new saw blade for the reciprocating saw, or sawzall, depending on how you call it. This one that we use, that we like to pick up, is heavy duty. It's a lot thicker than some of the other reciprocating saw blades, and we always go with the wood one. It was suggested one year that we use a metal one because it makes smaller bone fragments. However, it takes you probably 4 times as long to cut through the spine and cut through bone with the metal one than it does with a wood one. And the wood chips, or sorry, the bone chips aren't that much different with these compared to the metal. And to make that saw blade work, you're gonna need the reciprocating saw to go with it. This one's corded, so we're gonna have to get the electric extension cord out as well. I highly recommend, if you can't afford it, to get a battery one, but we've still got John Deere payments, so we're sticking with the corded. Again, the reciprocating saw allows you to break down the pig that much quicker. We do have a handsaw that we use for finer work when we're making like tomahawk steaks and that kind of stuff with the cow. But when you're breaking down a cow or pig, with the pig, we break them down into 6 pieces. And that saw goes through the bone, no problem, goes through the spine, splits it up, makes life so much easier to be able to get those parts down into the cold room. And we're back at the truck again, because you probably saw that was in there is the hose. We picked up a new hose because our other hoses have seen a lot of wear and tear, especially the ones we got a couple years ago that we use in the winter for filling up the cow trough. So we got a new one. We're gonna test this one out tomorrow with the pigs, see how well we like it. If we like this one, then we'll probably grab another, and those will be our new winter hoses for the cows. And with the hose, obviously, comes something to go on the end of the hose. In the past, we've used the little water guns. This year, we're gonna try this one. So I gotta come to the greenhouse and grab that. Washing off the pig after you burn the hair off and scrub the hair off is a necessity to make it clean, to be able to put it down in the cold room. Blades, we have a few that we use. So first, we keep 2 blades with us. We keep those sharpened. These are sharp and pointy. We use those for slitting the neck after we shoot them. Then we have this one here that we keep nice and sharp as well. This one here is used for cutting down the back of the spine as well as on the front of the breastbone. We use it for also down between the back legs as well. We use it anytime we want to open up a section of fat or meat to get to the bone, where then we have to use the saw. That way we don't have to use the saw and cut through fat or meat, making a mess of the meat with the saw. Steel, we keep a sharpening steel here, again, just to keep those knives sharp. And then we have one of these, basically a gut hook. This is amazing for opening up below the rib cage down to the pelvic area. And speaking of saws, I forgot to bring out our bone saw. This is a manual bone saw. We use it on the pelvic bone and the chest plate. We don't want to be using a circular saw, or sorry, reciprocating saw in that area. It would just make too much of a mess and you risk puncturing all the internals. Just thinking what I'm missing. Extension cord, that's easy. I don't need to show you me grabbing that. Tractor with bale spears. This makes a huge difference in being able to harvest and butcher pigs. However, you do not need this to be able to harvest your own pigs. You will need something to move the pigs though, whether it's a come along, an ATV, a truck, something like that, to be able to pull the pig from where you harvest it to where you're going to start dressing it. This makes a huge difference if you have pallet forks instead of a bucket. got a little wasp hornet flying around here on the camera. So if you have pallet forks or bale spears like this, it makes a huge difference by being able to lift your pig up in the air, spreading their legs to be able to dress them and clean them out. It also makes a big difference when you put the bucket on to be able to carry the parts of the pigs over to the house, to the cold room, unless you're going to throw it over on your shoulder, which we do sometimes as well. So the rope loops for the legs. These allow us to do a quick loop around the back leg and attach it to the bucket, well, the bale spears on the tractor. And that allows us to lift the pig up, allows us to spread those back legs open. And then when we go to gut and dress the pig, we can lift the pig up in the air and makes it much easier. If you don't have a tractor, you can still do it. You'll need the gambrel and the hoist and somewhere to hook that to. So then you can put that gambrel in the back legs. That allows you to spread the back legs open. You hook that onto your hoist and lift the pig up in the air. So I've come to the back to the shooting range, the junkyard, and I got to pick up this piece here. So when you're harvesting pigs, what you'll find is you'll want to kind of confine them in a small area. If you have more than one pig especially, you don't want to harvest them inside the pen. It just causes a whole bunch of running and issues, and then trying to get in there to get the pig out with the other pigs running around. It makes it really hard. So what we like to do is we kind of make a little chute outside the gate for the pigs and allow one to come out at a time. There's a bowl of food there, so they come out and kind of start snorkeling around in the food, and that's when we put them down. So I was hoping these boards would be okay for the other side of the chute. We used one of them last year, but the weather's kind of taken a toll on it, and I don't trust that they're going to be solid enough to do what we need them to do. Let me ask you a question. Is an idea stupid if it works? Figure this old rabbit hutch would come in useful for something. So guys, it looks like the rabbit hutch is going to work perfectly for this. I knew it would come in handy someday. That gives us a really solid side on this side, and then we've got the metal, the 2x6, and we're going to screw that to the box there. That will be reinforced when we bring the tractor over like this and just push up against everything. That'll contain the pig. They're always calm when we do this, which is very nice. We open the door, allow one to come in. Again, we set a bowl of feed there. They come over, they eat calmly, and then we finish them off. We do that with a 22 long rifle, basically right in the center of the head. We draw an X from ear to eye, and that's where we place it. They always drop instantly, and then we use the knife again and cut through the throat to make sure everything's finished off very quickly. We don't want any suffering, so we want to end it as quick as we can. That also allows them to bleed out as well pretty quick. So from there, once they're finished, we tie a couple of ropes to the back of the leg. We just loop it around, hook it onto the bale spears of the tractor, lift them up, and then take them over to the car shelter and set them on the skids. Again, if you don't have a tractor, if you have an ATV or a truck, you'll be able to pull them over, pull them out, tow them over. You can basically find some sort of solution for moving them to where you want to start dressing them. So guys, I hope you found this video kind of informative. If you do have any questions about our process on how we harvest these guys, please drop it there in the comments. We'll try to answer it the best we can about how we process everything. We do it this way because we know they've had a good life. We know they're getting finished off quick. we also have the facilities to be able to butcher them ourselves. We have the cold room that we built, so they can go in there for usually about 2 days till the meat starts to get pretty solid. It allows us to work with it better when we're butchering. So it saves us quite a bit of money on the butchering. Like I said, we aren't going to show the process that we go through. We might maybe on a future video. So guys, if you do like this video, make sure you stick around, check out some of the other videos we have like down here, as well as the future videos coming up on how we go about butchering these guys.